Hello, you are welcome to the newspaper review here on Tab TV. My name is Williams Abule, and today is the 8th of May 2023, and we are so excited to have you join us here on the program. If you're just seeing this video for the first time, this is where we bring you the headlines across newspapers around Nigeria, and we get to analyze those headlines here on the program. To do the analysis with me is the beautiful Jennifer one more. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, how was your weekend?
It was quite
fun. That's great.
Like, I visited the mall, and you know, visiting the mall means that you need money, especially in the city.
So you went to spend money.
Yeah. Ah! You know, sometimes you just need to spend it.
I'm telling you, meet the very billionaire Jennifer one more again.
So that your next of kids will not end up doing
that
for
explain
you.
Me money, oh, explain me money.
Just try and fix an event. It's an occasion that demands. No, we don't spend money in Nigeria.
I have, you know, everybody has their birthday like twice, depending on who you're meeting. So now that I've met you, yes, my birthday is in 1 week. So I will invite you.
To link you up with the family.
All right, that's very beautiful. Hope you also had a swell weekend. But here on the program, we're set to bring you the headlines, and let's do that right away. We'll start with this day newspaper, and on this day here we have as headline: Dangote, my refinery can save Nigeria $10 billion in ethics, generate another $10 billion in exports. Task incoming administration on public-private partnership. All right, you see that story on page 10 of this day newspaper. All right, moving downwards, we say PDP here. PDP, APC plotting to influence outcome of petition at tribunal. That story is on page 14 of this day newspaper. We also see Badaru to Wike. Thank you for helping APC sabotage PDP in River State. Page 41 is where details of that story is. Very interesting headline there. If you need to know the details, this day newspaper is where you will go to. Buhari directs NUPRC to take over suspension of all crude oil export terminals. Functions overlap with NMDPRA resolved. All right, we'll move on to the main headline here on this day. The 10th National Assembly APC National Working Committee meets today to ratify consensus zoning. Leadership tussle worsens as 68 senators-elect reject deal. Group warns Tinubu party not to plunge selves into crisis. Southeast senators caution president-elect against injustice. ACF dissociates self from ex-Niger Delta minister's endorsement. All right, and at the very bottom here, we see over 143 passengers escape death as Max Air crash lands in Abuja. All right, that's all the stories we'll be taking on this day. But Jennifer, let me come to you. Dangote Refinery is being commissioned today by the president of Nigeria in person of Muhammadu Buhari. And this has, of course, elicited a lot of reaction, both positive and negative. Some people are saying, that the presidency or Nigerian government has never given so much support to big businesses like that of Innocent. And of course, there was also Ibetu Cement and all of that. Why the attention on Dangote Refinery? But we all know what the refinery, that is the commissioning of Dangote Refinery, is going to do to our economy as a nation, since we are oil dependent in this country. Can we just have you do an overview generally about the commissioning of that refinery? Yes,
it's indeed a great feat. When I mean a great feat, is a great achievement in this part of the world. In this part of the world, looking at the #1 man, let me say the richest man in Africa, that is Aliko Dangote. He has delivered. And especially not just for himself, for the country as well. It is in Nigeria. If we come to look at so many of our refineries, I don't think anyone is working perfectly right now. They are in a total mess. And Dangote coming up with this, when he started, I knew that he will deliver. And coming up with this is an open channel to employment, especially exportation. So many things will happen. Being situated in the city of Lagos, we know what it means. So many will gain employment. So many will even leave their different states to that same place for employment opportunities and all that. And talking of the person in question, the person to commission this particular refinery project, I don't think it's a thing to bother about. He would have chosen any other person. Yes. Nobody, it wasn't put on him. It was not, he was not mandated to say it must be the president that will commission that place. I think I'm right.
Yeah, true.
So, and remember that the coming to you saying Dangote group of companies, that is in much competition with all the people you mentioned, and not saying Ibeto group of companies, and right now he's still at the peak. He is still at the peak. So that particular place that he's doing a very great job. Dangote is doing a very great job. I know that to an extent every other person that are into the same business with him. Now that will at least give space to the ones that are into flour, this and this, to move up a little, and I think he will focus more on whatever the refinery is going to do. And to an extent, things that we need to do here, things that, remember that some of our crude, some things, some resources that we have here are not being refined here.
Yes, of course, of course.
Yes, it's moved out.
But that will change now.
It will definitely change. So it's a nice one. It's a great feat on the side of Dangote, and on the side of Nigerians. I'll actually say I'm giving a bravo to him and to the reason why he has brought that to be. So
I totally agree with you, because whether some people feel disgruntled about it or not, it's only normal that when something as big as this happens, some people will not really support it. But I believe that the president of Nigeria and President Muhammadu Buhari is going out there to Lagos to commission that project, because it is something that will greatly benefit the economy of our country at this time. We are a country that depends on oil.
As our major, sorry to come. You know that some people here, some people in the shoes of Dangote could have preferred to do this outside the country.
Very true. But then we see him doing this in the heart of one of the biggest economy in Nigeria, that is Lagos State. And we know what the benefits of this refinery, what it will bring in terms of employment, in terms of also producing these petroleum products right here in the country. It will also reduce or totally eliminate the importation of fuel from other countries, like we've been doing. We've been importing fuel from other countries, and it's a shameful thing for Nigeria that is oil producing. We have the crude oil and love it, but we cannot refine these oils here. So now,
and because we don't have working refineries.
Yes, but now we have.
Not there.
Yeah, now they are there, but they are all, you know, in comatose. So we need, now that Dangote has, you know, come back with this, I want to believe that incoming administration would also take a leave and probably get one of the refineries working, whether the LMA refinery or anything of that sort. Something should happen, and they should take example from Dangote refinery and begin to also, if we have just 3 or 4 of these refineries working in this country, we would have solved a lot of our problems. And also, let's not forget that the incoming administration is also moving to remove oil subsidy. So, of course, that's when this refinery will now play its full role, because if subsidy has been removed,
you can't remove the oil subsidy when you don't have a working refinery.
But now we have one, so let's also.
This is in the private sector, right?
Yes, it is, but then it's manageable. We know that it's going to help to kind of like cushion the effect when this subsidy is removed. And we're also hoping that when this government also take out that subsidy, they will also, you know, channel the money to also activating our refineries. Yeah, the federal government-owned refineries to be activated, so that we can have our oil and our petroleum production produced here in our country. But it's a very great feat by Dangote, and also kudos to the federal government for giving him all the support that he needed to achieve this. Yes, Lagos State government too. Yes, they also played a part in this, and we congratulate Dangote group of companies for getting to this very point. All right, let's move on to other papers, and that will be the Daily Sun newspaper for today, the 8th of May 2023. And on Daily Sun here, we have a headline, My Last Moment with Umaru Musa Yar'Adua Turai. That's on page 9 of the Daily Sun newspaper. The main headline here on the Daily Sun says, Southeast senators demand Senate President sit. Hinge claim on justice, fairness, equity. I'll take that again. Southeast senators demand Senate President sit. Hinge claim on justice, fairness, equity. Advise Tinubu against adopting current government's policy of excluding zone from power equation. APC Senate caucus splits. You find details of story on page 6 and 29 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Moving on to other headlines here, we see headsmen kill husband, wife, 5 others in 3 Benue communities. Details is on page 4 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Fuel subsidy, CIS LAC queries $800 million World Bank loan for Nigerians. Page 28 is where you will find details of that story. We also see here, PDP alleges plots to influence presidential election tribunal. All right, we'll stop there for the Daily Sun newspaper. So, Jennifer, we also see here, Southeast senators demand Senate President sit. So this has gone on for weeks now.
Yes, and been on the paper.
Yes, the lobbying has been on, and people are lobbying for different positions in the incoming government. Yes. The Senate President, which is a very vital and very important seat in any government, it's been, aggressively chased down by the Southeasterners. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're doing a wrong thing.
No,
especially when you see the reason why they've actually demanded that it comes to the Southeast. Reason, they want fairness, they want equity. Recall the other time that I was on this particular program, I mentioned it, I said it's becoming ethnicity, it's looking like tribalism. And you were like, do I think so? I said yes. When you're talking about giving it to the South, I said every of this person in one way or the other have taken part in the Senate senatorial in the Senate leadership
presidency.
So this time around, why not? What they're asking for is not too much. They're talking about the people in the likes of Ojuzokalu, Abari Bay, and they have somebody that actually proposing to be the Senate President. If they're actually asking the man right now, the President-elect, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, please consider. This time around, we don't just want you to say this is whom it fits to wear the crown, but right now we're saying bring it over to our side.
There's also Akpabio from the South.
Akpabio is from the South, but remember that a person from the South had been the deputy
Senate
President. Let us look at that. Look at it from that angle. People from the South have never had the opportunity of being the president in this country. They
have, but then maybe not in recent times.
Not in recent times. So this time around, they're seeking for that opportunity and say the Nigeria is our own. If the APC from the Southeast have given the president-elect full support during the presidential election, so what are you giving us back in return? Do you just want to kick us out from this race? Do you just want us to stay like this?
So they are just looking for the presidency to anoint someone from the Southeast, because of course we know that the president's votes in the Senate is not as powerful as the rest of the senators there that are going to decide who will be the Senate president. But of course,
the president has the power to
anoint someone.
Of
course, we know. And I'm sure that by now he already has someone in mind. We don't know whether the person is from the Southeast or the Southwest or the West, as it were, or the South. But then we sure know that in this game of politics, it's also a game of interest. Who is going to be the fourth man in the seat of power that will make your government a smooth ride? All of that is very key to the incoming administration. So of course I'm sure they have their eyes.
Who is the man that will make your government a smooth ride.
Yes, because when we know that they have their eyes on that seat, we know that, of course, their attention is there while they are setting up a cabinet. But our fingers are crossed. And then we also have seen the body language of the Southeastern senators, how they have really pushed forward, especially in person of Orji Uzor Kalu.
Have been pushing.
And
he's been pushing, and he's like, it's my turn.
Yes, he said that. I wanted to go there. And when he came out to say, it's my turn, using the same language that the president. So
that flowing is his turn.
Well, let's just hope
is it
that.
Actually his turn?
We don't know, but then let's just hope that, And then again, it's not about having it your turn or saying it's your turn. Are you willing to serve? Are you willing to do the right thing? Because we don't want a rubber stamp Senate that doesn't have a hold on the presidency.
Yes.
We want a Senate that will really be ready to hold the presidency accountable for their actions. So that's all we're looking out for. So Orji Uzor Kalu is a man that I believe has the competence to run the Senate. He has been there. He has been a governor, and when he joined the Senate, he has been really, really active. That's how, very, very active here. So I believe that he has the capacity. Let's just hope that he's not going to run, if he wins, so that is, if he wins, he's not going to have a rubber-stamped kind of Senate. We also have the House of Representatives also in view, because the leadership tussle is also there.
It's also there, and the president-elect have actually picked up some.
He has anointed someone.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Well, our fingers are crossed as they begin to set the 10th assembly.
From now,
everything will come out in plain view. We'll begin to know what is going on as the 10th assembly begins to work with the newly sworn in. The May 29th date is very sacrosanct, and we are all waiting for that day. All right, we're going to take our last paper, but before we do that, let's go on a very quick break. Once we come back, we'll see what the headlines look like. You stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Hey there. Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Back from that short break, and we want to thank you so much for staying with us here on the program, the News Super Review. Don't forget you can also be a part of this by dropping your comments and your reactions on the comment section, because we'd love to hear what your opinions are as regards the headlines we've been reading. Let's go on to our last paper for today, and that would be Daily Trust newspaper for today, the 8th of May 2023. And on Daily Trust, Tribunal begins hearing Atiku, Obi, 3 other petitions today. Mixed feelings in Kano over Kwankwaso's statement on Sanusi's dethronement. Also, we see here as headline, 77 trillion naira debt, fuel subsidy, 3 other issues Tinubu will inherit from Buhari. That's a very interesting headline, and you find that story on page 22 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We move on to the main headline on the Daily Trust. It says here, speakership. Aspirants move against Tinubu's anointed candidate. What attracted me to President-elect Abbas? We were not consulted. Washe's camp. Endorsement mere speculation. Gaji Batara declares today. North Central spoils for fight. You find all of these details on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Moving downwards, we see NAFDAC raises alarm over importation of banned pesticides from UK. We also see here, man beats son to death for stealing 1 mudu of millet. That's really sad. You find details on page 20 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And lastly, I'll take this headline, 144 passengers on hot as Max airplane crash lands in Abuja. Many flights cancelled. Safety Bureau probes incident. Right, Jenny. Let's begin with this last story. Yes, really sad, but thank God no life was lost. You know, that we've seen things like this. This is not very far away from what happened to this airline.
That was what crossed my mind.
Yeah,
when
that
I
killed a lot of people because the flight landed successfully. Yes. Not successfully, but it landed in Port Harcourt before it overran its runway. And then, you know, all of that.
Had lots of students.
Yes, all of that loss. It was really sad back then. But this had happened again. But this time, God helped us. Yes. And then everybody came out of that flight unhurt. And they are fine. The flight took off from Yola, I beg your pardon, to Abuja. And then from, you know, witnesses or people on the flight, they said they lost the tire. The tire busted right from the runway from Yola. So kudos to the pilots that were able to land that flight successfully.
Yes. That goes to the aviation sector. I don't know what they're doing about this. There should be a proper check.
Yeah.
Yes.
But despite the checks, these things happen once in a while. Accidents, unplanned, you know, circumstances just pop up. And then that's the risk with flight. When it happens mid-air, you have to really pray to your God to help the pilot to save the day. Like in this situation, the pilots were really good and professional about their job.
This 144 persons should at least carry out a Thanksgiving. Yes. You're a Muslim, you're a Christian, just organize one.
Yes, I can imagine the scare for the people on that flight. But thank God they are very okay and unhurt. And then let's go to this other story. It says here, 77 trillion naira debt, fuel subsidy. 3 other issues Tinubu will inherit from Buhari.
That's a very huge one. Imagine
77 trillion naira debt.
What an inheritance.
Interesting story. What's your opinion about that story?
You know, Mr. Abule, the stories remain the same. Every time a transition such as this one to take place, whether it's the governor in the state or in the federal, at the federal level, you see people saying, he left an empty treasury for me. What do I need to start my work with? What am I going to start my work with? It's just like in this case, 77 trillion naira. And just the other day here, CBN approved a 22 billion naira. For this same administration that's about to leave in the next 2 weeks. How is it the president-elect that is about to take over come May 29, how is he going to cope with this?
Well,
77 trillion
it's a lot of money, but we all know that most nations survive on debts that they collect from different places like the IMF, the World Bank, and all of those.
So this tells to what extent the Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to work hard, because for him to achieve this, he needs to work hard.
I also know, I can bet and be very, I'm very sure that he's also going to leave, if not more of this death, he's going to also leave some debt for the next president that will come after him. It has always been like this. We always see all of these, unresolved issues, mostly related to
the subsidy. I can recall that when Goodluck Jonathan was there, they couldn't
remove it.
Well,
that's because Nigerians came and they said, "Oh, Goodluck Jonathan wants to kill all Nigerians. He has a bad plan for Nigeria. How dare he think he will remove subsidy? That we should all stay there with the subsidy." And now it has become very obvious that subsidy needs to go.
So what about the $800 million that was collected by?
Okay, so all of that, that's what I'm saying, that every government survives on debt and they will still collect more.
They'll still collect more.
They will. It's not something that's, on top of this 77 trillion naira is something that they cannot even pay within the next 20 years. But then they will collect more. And that's how every country, even in the US, America.
But having this on ground, Mr. Abule, I don't think there will be ways to open the opening up of employment, because you're in debt. It's just like a person that is owing.
But the debt does not stop. The debt does not stop the government from running.
It doesn't stop the government from running, but to an extent, it can limit the his capacity.
Okay.
Yes.
We have our fingers crossed. Let's see.
Yes, it can. You coming in to meet debts, to meet anti-treasury, do you know what it means? To meet subsidy removal. Why didn't they take that decision at that time?
It's only Peter Obi that has been able to come out and clearly declare that he didn't leave. He didn't leave debt for his successors. That he actually kept money for them. Most states governments, they leave huge debts for, you know, their incomings, governors and all of that. So I'm not surprised that even at the federal level we have these amount of debts. Yes, maybe you would have. I think that they may have closed in on the debt, maybe paid off some debt, but they keep paying. Every administration pays debt. Even Buhari's government was able to pay some debt, but it will never be able to clear what is being owed by most of these governments. So yes, government in, government out, there will still be debts that have been owed by different governments.
And I'm very sure that no one man would decide to run the country with his own money.
No way.
I would have said that will authentically
that would be Jesus.
That would be Jesus. So leaving this particular debt for him, talking about the subsidy removal and many others, you know, that place there are other things awaiting him. And this whole lot of things awaiting the president-elect, awaiting him are just negative. Very
true. But then it's what Nigeria has been. You know, Nigeria has a lot of challenge, and one of the most you know, critical challenge is the division in the country at this time.
Yes.
You know, because we've had people from different parts of the country calling for some kind of breakup. We don't want to be Nigeria again. We cannot hold. The center cannot hold. So we want to go our separate ways. And that is something that the incoming government will have to deal with very well.
And even the census that is on indefinite suspension.
Yeah, so
is still among the things awaiting this particular
a lot of work for Tinubu and his team.
A lot of
and
work.
We already see his body language when he came to Rivers State. He already started saying things like the unity.
He's ready to work.
Yeah, the unity of this country is very paramount in his administration. And we're going to watch him do that, even if not in all his administration. But let's see what he does within the first 2 years. Nigeria is in a very tight place where any administration coming in will do a lot of work within a set time to fix things. But let's see with the support.
It's not just immediately. So the citizens should not expect that.
Of course, it's not going to be a miraculous
the Messiah that can just do a magic.
Yes,
this
very
is not
true.
magic.
Very true. All right, I want to thank you so much, Jennifer, for coming to the program. And to our viewers, I want to thank you for watching. Until we come your way next time again, my name is William Sabule, and this has been the newspaper review here on TAP TV.